Susan Cox was described by friends, family and neighbours as being happy and full of life, positive, always interested in people and very determined. Susan was willing to work very hard for what she wanted and went on to be a trained cosmetologist, but she did very much want to be married with children. Susan's mother encouraged her to date for a while, but by then she had met Josh Powell at a singles meeting at her church. The two were married soon afterwards and had 2 little boys, Charlie and Braden. The couple seemed like love's young dream in their touching wedding video, but their marriage was both difficult and abusive. Susan's friend, Kirsty Helliwell, stated that Josh was loud and overbearing and that he believed only his opinions were the right ones. Josh controlled the finances. Despite having come into the marriage with debt himself, he spent a lot and took advantage of Susan's clean credit to spend more, and later had to file for bankruptcy due to $2,000 worth of debt.
Josh locked this, but this is all of his files. See, locked. Those are his files. And he bought expensive stuff, like these are, I think this was like a couple of $1,000 of, like, it says graphic design templates by Stock Layouts or something like that. And there is a shop vac. This is all stuff bought in a year or less through Home Depot on my credit. Josh bought a lot of stuff and then he had to bankrupt it. And then he bought a little bit more on my credit. There's a nice lamp. These are things to roll wood with. Oh, there's his RC car. It's pretty pimped out. You can see that stuff. I think he's got probably a 3,000 worth of supplies in the RC car world. It's a beauty salon chair. A whole lot more tools. So he bought drill sets. There's a nail gun by Boss Stitch. There's a rigid small drill. Or Milwaukee drill, a rigid, I think that's a sander of some sort. There's another rigid saw, paint supplies. This is all of Josh's RC car stuff. You are with me. I'm told it's like worth $3,000. Lots of it everywhere. There's more RC car parts. Yeah, we got that rigid step ladder. There's some fans.
Due to expense, Josh took away Susan's car, making her take a bike to work, and once was seen chastising her for feeding the boys 1 whole hot dog each, rather than splitting 1 hot dog between the 2. Meg Wade, the family's babysitter, saw Josh suddenly snap and shout at Susan, which made his children cry. Josh had also broken Susan's things in anger.
And I had necklaces too. I don't know where those are. I just got in a rage, as you can see, and broke this. There's duds and pearls and opals in there. Broke this and threw all my DVDs and made a mess because he was angry at me about a year or 2 back.
Josh's previous partner, Catherine, had said Josh was possessive and would not allow her to visit her family by herself. She had to go to a friend's house and break up with him by phone. Josh was controlling, but Susan wanted to make things work and kept trying to make things right between them. However, Susan had begun to make plans in case she needed to leave. She documented their belongings on advice from a solicitor and left the video and a last will and testament in a safety deposit box and told her work friends only that it was there.
This is me. July 29th, 2008. It is 12:33 Mountain Time. Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented. Hope everything works out and we're all happy and live happily ever after as much as that's possible.
Susan revealed in her will that she and Josh had difficulties in their marriage for 3 to 4 years before she wrote it. She said that Josh had stated he may flee the country and that he would ruin her and her life would be over if she divorced him. Josh blamed Susan for not buying cheaper groceries and the Republican government for his mean behaviour towards Susan. He said if those things were resolved, they would have no problems. Susan knew she was in danger. She knew her boys were in danger. She did not want Josh to have access to her will and said, "If I die, it may not be an accident, even if it looks like one." Around a year and a half later, on the 6th of December 2009, Susan vanished. Neither Josh nor Susan called in sick to work that day, and the daycare raised concerns that the boys had not been dropped off. Police did a welfare check and found the house locked up. They accessed the home with permission of family and found the sofa and carpet had just been cleaned and fans were blowing on it to dry it. Tiny spatters of Susan's blood were found on the tiling by the sofa, and Susan's purse was left in the bedroom with all her things inside it. Josh was questioned when he returned that day. He stated that he had taken the boys camping in sub-zero temperatures around midnight on the 6th. He had made a call to Susan's phone, leaving a voicemail saying they were on their way home, but Susan's phone was in the car with him at the time. The boys had told police Mummy went camping and didn't come back with them. When later spoken to, the boys had said they didn't talk about Mummy or camping. When Josh was asked later why neither him nor Susan called into work, he said he must have thought it was a Sunday that day. The morning after Susan went missing, Josh was seen cleaning the trunk of his car and the house, and that day he turned up 4 hours late for his interview with police without giving any explanation. In the interview he was evasive and asked if he could think about things for a couple of days.
Okay, what do you think has happened to her? I need you to tell me what you think has happened to her.
I don't think she would leave on her own.
Have I told you that you're a suspect?
Well, it's felt like that a few times.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. One of our detectives just interviewed your children. And your children are telling our detectives that Mom went with you guys last night. And that she didn't come back.
She did not go with us.
You could leave anytime anyways.
Yeah. I mean, let me think about it for a couple days and...
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but I've already...
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I've already answered everything.
On December 14th, 2009, Josh retained an attorney regarding the investigation. In the following weeks, he liquidized Susan's work pension, cancelled her ongoing appointments, and moved both himself and the children out of their Utah home. Susan Cox Powell has never been found.
Okay.
No.
No, move your hand, move the box.
Susan's obsessive father-in-law, Stephen Powell.
Stephen was obsessed with her. Stephen had journals about her.
I think she's the most beautiful thing that ever walked the earth.
The possible involvement of Michael Powell and his subsequent suicide, and a terrible, terrible tragedy that might have been avoided.
There is somebody here. There's 2 little boys in the house, and they're 5 and 7, and there's an adult man. He has supervised visitation, and he blew up the house and the kids. The kids and the husband and the father were in the house? Yeah, yes, he slammed the door in my face.
The search of the Powell family home, brought on by the search for Susan's journals, found evidence that Stephen Powell was the father-in-law of nightmares. The catalogue of video diaries, songs and photos he had are enough to turn any thinking person's stomach. Stephen Powell was a narcissist father and raised his children to believe that he was beyond reproach. Stephen had an alibi when Susan went missing, although many have questioned his possible involvement in her disappearance. During the time Josh was absent after Susan's death, neither Josh nor Stephen's cell phone received any messages or calls, suggesting they were simultaneously switched off or disconnected. Following Josh's death, police asked Stephen about Susan's disappearance. Stephen Powell refused to answer and invoked his Fifth Amendment right. In 2012, Powell was convicted on 14 counts of voyeurism for shooting video and still pictures of the girls as they used a family bathroom in a next-door house. During Stephen's trial, evidence from his own journal showed that he had been stalking Susan and taking secret video of her before her disappearance. In his own head, Stephen Powell had created a fantasy that Susan wanted him. He collected her underwear and sanitary products and kept them in his home in Washington in sealed bags labelled with Susan's name.
Susan was very, very sexual with me. She was very flirtatious. I mean, I'm her father-in-law, and she would do a lot of things that I mean, she was just, she did it, I did. I mean, we interacted in a lot of sexual ways because Susan enjoys doing that.
Do you think a part of you started falling in love with Susan?
That's pretty likely, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say so. And there's no question in my mind that the feelings were mutual.
This interview was during a time when, rather than assist police, the Powell family chose to drag Susan's name through the mud and blame her for her own disappearance. After Stephen Powell's horrifying collection was found, the children, Charlie and Braden, were moved out of the Powell home and into a home with Susan's parents. Josh began the fight for custody of his children, and despite Josh Powell having been found with child pornography and Susan's parents pleading with the state for the children not to be sent to him, the state allowed him supervised access to his children. This was primarily at a visiting centre, but was moved to Josh's home due to his presence being upsetting for the other people using the centre. After being told that he did not have full custody of his children, Josh gave away Charlie and Braden's books and toys to charity, withdrew money from his bank account, and waited for the social worker to arrive with the boys. He shut the door in her face and locked her out. He attacked the boys with an axe after saying he had a surprise for them, and then set the house alight. The social worker made 2 frantic 911 calls, on one of which there seems to be some misunderstanding about the urgency of the situation by the call handler. It's frustrating to hear.
Reporting. Hey, I'm on a supervised visitation for a court-ordered visit, and something really weird has happened. The kids went into the house, and the parent, the biological parent, whose name is Josh Powell, will not let me in the door. What should I do?
What's the address?
It's 8119, and I think it's 89th. I don't know what the address is.
Okay, that's pretty important for me to know.
I'm sorry, I can't. Just a minute. Let me get in my car and see if I can find it. Nothing like this has ever happened before at these visitations, so I'm really shocked. And I could hear one of the kids crying, but he still wouldn't let me in. Okay, it is just a minute, I have it here. You can't find me by GPS?
No.
Okay, it is, I still can't find it. But I think I need help right away. He's on a very short lease with CSHS, and CPS has been involved. And this is the craziest thing. He looked right at me and closed the door. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just waiting to know where you are.
Okay. It's 8119 189th Street, Court East, Puyallup, 98375. And I'd like to pull out of the driveway because I smell gasoline and he won't let me in.
You want to pull out of the driveway because you smell gasoline, but he won't let you...
He won't let me in.
He won't let you out of the driveway?
He won't let me in the house.
Whose house
He's got
is
the
it?
kids in the house and he won't let me in. It's a supervised visit.
I understand. Whose house is it?
Josh Powell.
Okay, so you don't live there, right?
No, I don't. No, I'm contracted to the state to provide supervised visitation.
I see. Okay. And who is there to exercise their visitation?
I am. And the visit is with Josh Powell.
And who
And
supervises?
he's the husband that I supervise.
So you supervise and you're doing the visit?
Yeah,
You're
I
supervising yourself?
I supervise myself. I'm the supervisor here.
Wait a minute. If it's a supervised visit, you can't supervise yourself. If you're the
I
visitor...
do supervise myself. I'm the supervisor for the supervised visit.
Okay, well, aren't you the one making the visit? Or is there another
I'm the
parent
one-
that you're supervising?
No, I'm the one that supervises. I pick up the kids at their grandparents.
Yes. And then who visits with the children?
Josh Powell.
Okay, so you're supposed to be there to supervise Josh Powell's visit with the children.
Yes, that's correct.
And how did...
And he's the husband of missing Susan Powell. This is a high-profile case.
How did he gain access to the children before you got there?
I was one step in back of them.
Okay, so they went into the house and then he locked you out.
Yes, he shut the door right in my face.
All right.
Okay, how long will it be?
I don't know, ma'am. They have to respond to emergency, life-threatening situations first. The first available deputy
Well,
is
this
responding.
could be life-threatening. He went to court on Wednesday, and he didn't get his kids back. And this is really, I'm afraid for their lives.
Okay, has he threatened the lives of the children previously?
I have no idea.
All right. We'll have the first available deputy contact you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi, ma'am. Were you calling about the fire in the 8200 block of
Yes,
188th
he
Street,
exploded
Court?
the house.
Ma'am,
yes,
do you know
he exploded the house.
Okay, do you know the exact address of the house, or are you...
Yes, it's 8119 189th Street, Court East,
Okay,
2 hours.
okay, stay online. Do you know if anyone's in the house?
Yes, there was a man and 2 children. I just dropped off the children, and he wouldn't let me in the door.
Okay, stay online for the fire department. Okay, I'm going to get them on the line. Do not hang up. Hold on.
Charlie and Braden had their lives ended far too soon by a selfish father. The boys couldn't even be laid to rest with their mother because nobody knows where she is. There will be more information about supporting Susan's family and friends in the search for Susan at the end of this video. Josh's brother, Michael Powell, has often said to have been involved in Susan's disappearance. There is some evidence to support this, in that Alina, Josh's sister, and Michael, Josh's brother, made a journey to Washington from Utah just 2 weeks after Susan went missing. On the journey, Michael's car broke down in Pendleton, or rather than repair it or have it towed, he sold it to Lindell Salvage for $100. Michael had later requested aerial photos of Lindell Salvage Yard, as detailed as possible. When police found this out, they investigated. Many of the cars in the salvage yard would have been involved in accidents, but Tug, the cadaver dog, knew where he was going. He went straight to Michael's Ford Taurus and alerted. The police took the car, but there was no DNA match available. Michael's sentiments about Stephen and Josh Powell can be heard echoed by his sister Alina. These opinions paint the Powell family as innocent victims harassed by police. When questioned about the charges against her father, Alina stated that nobody really got hurt, nobody actually came to any harm. In a home where you're raised by this kind of father, perhaps the reaction of these children is normal. This is one of the saddest cases I've encountered, where so many things could have been prevented. We have huge opportunities to learn from this. Those who are left behind are only able to wonder what happened to Susan, because Josh and Stephen took their secrets to the grave. Please join the Facebook page of Susan's Friends and Relatives and help in the search for Susan.